right? To say that like XRP, ridiculous, right? You got all this stuff.
I think what's happening right now is remarkable.
Clients are increasingly looking at a world.
What's up, future millionaires? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited you're here with me today. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day no matter where you are in this incredible world of ours. Today, we're diving deep into XRP, and I have to kick things off with some mind-blowing news that just dropped. Are you ready for this? Kenya just passed a groundbreaking bill that officially legalizes Bitcoin and crypto for all 60 million of its citizens. I mean, can you believe that? This is actually happening, people. And here's what makes this so incredible. This is exactly what we've been talking about. This right here is the real deal, and it's unfolding before our very eyes. So this is coming from Mr. Man Kenya and Ripple, and here's where it gets really interesting. While these countries are talking about Bitcoin, let me tell you what's actually happening behind the scenes. They ran this incredible pilot program to test something game-changing, how stablecoins, digital wallets, and blockchain technology could create lightning-fast, super cheap, and way more accessible payment systems. But here's the cool part. This was specifically designed for digital gig workers in Kenya. Think about this for a second. They wanted to solve a real problem that thousands of online workers face every single day. These are people earning money through platforms like Appen, Remote Ask, and SomaSource. You know, those micro-work platforms where people do small tasks for small payments. The big issue? Getting paid was expensive and slow. So they're using blockchain to cut through all that friction, making it easier and cheaper for these workers to actually get their money. Plus, and this is brilliant, they're exploring how blockchain could help protect people's income when their local currency gets crazy volatile. It's like they're building a financial safety net using crypto technology. So that's the real story behind what's happening in Kenya. And honestly, this isn't really about Bitcoin adoption at all. Let me break down why they're so excited about this technology. Picture this scenario. You're working abroad and you want to send money back home to your family. Right now, that process is a total nightmare. It's ridiculously expensive and it takes forever. We're talking up to 3 days, sometimes even longer, just to get your money where it needs to go. But here's where blockchain completely flips the script. With this technology, you could send that same money home in literally seconds. Not days, not hours, seconds. And get this, it would cost you less than a penny to do it. I mean, think about that for a moment. From 3 days and high fees to instant transfers for practically nothing. That's not just an improvement, that's absolutely revolutionary. This is the kind of real-world impact that gets me so pumped about this technology. All right, so this bombshell report is coming straight from the National Cryptocurrency Association, and what they're revealing is absolutely mind-blowing. Institutions are literally racing to get on-chain, and it's happening faster than most people realize. Just think about what we've witnessed in the past few weeks alone. It's been insane. Major banks are actually piloting blockchain platforms for debt and settlements. US brokerages? They're throwing their doors wide open again for crypto trading, welcoming back retail investors like us. But wait, it gets even better. Exchanges are sitting down at the table with regulators, having serious conversations about tokenization. And here's the kicker. Asset managers are now launching tokenized stocks and ETFs directly on the blockchain. What we're seeing right here in America is historic, guys. Traditional finance and digital assets are finally coming together, whether it's custody services, trading platforms, regulation, or market development. It's like watching two worlds collide in the best possible way. Now here's the thing that really gets me excited. Yes, institutional adoption is definitely happening right now, but we're still just scratching the surface. The real institutional boom, that monster wave is still building, and when it crashes down, it's going to change everything. Guys, the institutional FOMO is absolutely through the roof right now. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? We've got over 30 XRP ETF applications and counting. 30 plus! That's not a coincidence, that's a tsunami of demand building up. And let's talk about what's coming next. Stablecoin regulations, RLUSD, and once custody gets sorted out, here's the reality check. Retail investors like us are going to get priced out of the market. That's why smart money is saying get your XRP now. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. Think about this logically for a second. You don't see 30-plus ETF applications for a cryptocurrency unless there's massive, real demand behind it. These institutions aren't filing paperwork for fun. They see something we're all starting to recognize. So here's what I believe is about to happen. Once these ETFs actually go live and start trading, we're going to see the price move lightning fast. I'm talking about the kind of price action that makes you wish you'd acted sooner. The writing is on the wall, people. The question is, are you reading it?
Oh man, here we go again. So Mark Yusko comes out and says XRP is ridiculous. But get this, he's totally fine with the idea that Satoshi might be chilling somewhere in North Korea, China, or Russia, secretly investing in Bitcoin without anyone knowing. Like, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. XRP is ridiculous, but that wild conspiracy theory, totally reasonable. I've got to be honest with you guys, Mark Yusko has become such a character at this point. This dude literally seems to have it out for XRP, and it's getting pretty obvious. I mean, the bias is just dripping from everything he says about it. You've got to hear this for yourself, though. Let me play you what he said, and you can judge for yourself whether this makes any sense.
Right? To say that XRP, ridiculous, right? You got all this stuff owned by Brad and the foundation, and then you got the army trading that shares back and forth to try to get 286 or 289. If the foundation actually sold all those coins, the price would basically go to zero.
Okay, so here's what really gets me. What if Satoshi suddenly decided to dump all his Bitcoin? Nobody ever talks about that elephant in the room. And here's another scenario that keeps me up at night. What if someone launched a 51% attack on Bitcoin? David Schwartz has brought this up multiple times, and it's a legitimate concern. But somehow Bitcoin maximalists still think it's absolutely bulletproof and the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now here's something that cracked me up. Apparently this guy didn't even know that Ripple has a foundation. Like, how are you going to criticize something you don't even understand? Let me break down how this actually works, because it's pretty genius when you think about it. Yes, Ripple holds a certain amount of XRP in escrow, that's true. But here's the key part everyone misses. They use it strategically to build more utility for XRP. And this is where it gets exciting for us. More utility equals more value, which pushes the price higher. That's literally the roadmap for how we, as XRP holders, build wealth over time. It's not rocket science, it's just smart business. This guy just hates Bitcoin, or just hates XRP. Sorry, Steak and Shake dumps Ethereum payments plan after pushback from Bitcoin maxis now. All right, so Steak and Shake is making some pretty bold claims here, and honestly, I think they're completely missing the mark. They're out here saying that paying with Bitcoin is somehow faster than using a credit card. And I'm like, really? Are we talking about the same Bitcoin? They're bragging about their second quarter 2025 numbers, claiming same-store sales jumped 10.7% and calling Bitcoin a game changer. Bitcoin burgers and beyond, they say. But here's where I think they're just playing games with us. This feels like pure marketing hype using the Bitcoin name to get attention. And here's why this strategy is actually going to backfire. Picture this scenario. You walk into a Steak and Shake as a crypto investor, super excited to pay with your digital assets. But then you find out they only accept Bitcoin? What about all the Ethereum holders, the XRP army, the people holding other cryptocurrencies? Those customers are going to walk right out and find somewhere that actually accepts their preferred crypto. It's like saying, we accept payment cards, but only taking one specific brand. It doesn't make business sense. And let's be real here. We all know Bitcoin transactions are expensive and painfully slow, unless somehow they're running this whole operation on the XRP ledger. But something tells me that's not what's happening here. Now here's something really interesting that's been flying under the radar. Standard Chartered has actually been working with Ripple and XRP for years now. Most people don't realize just how deep this partnership goes. But what I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind. We've got Terry Chalosi, who's the chief business officer at Swift. Yeah, that's Swift, the one that handles trillions of dollars in global payments every day. And we've also got Michael Spiegel, who's the global head of transaction banking. These are some seriously heavy hitters in the traditional finance world. And what they're saying about this space is absolutely fascinating. You've got to hear this for yourself. Let me play what they had to say.
Clients are increasingly looking at a world where they want not only to see data, but also assets and therefore value move instantly. And that's currently not the case. And in emerging markets, in fast-growing markets, the demand for always on is accelerating, and they're looking at reliable services. And tokenization is actually bringing a reliable service, actually brings innovation to the market that we can then bring to our clients. In my mind, the landscape of finance or digital finance is at a tipping point. So tokenization and digital assets are about to move from pilot into mainstream. And at Standard Chartered Bank, we have been a leader in this area.
And here's the bombshell. The reason Standard Chartered is such a leader in this space, they've been quietly working with Ripple and XRP for years. And get this, he's saying all of this right in front of Swift's chief business officer. Can you imagine being in that room? It's like he's basically telling Swift to their face, hey, your system is outdated. Cool. But here's what really gets me excited. He's laying out exactly what everyone in the financial world is thinking but afraid to say out loud. People are absolutely done waiting 2 or 3 days for a simple wire transfer. And don't even get me started on those ridiculous fees we all have to pay. It's 2025, people. We can order food and have it delivered in 30 minutes. We can video chat with someone on the other side of the planet instantly, but somehow sending money still takes days? That's just crazy. He's basically confirming what we've all been saying. The demand for real-time payments is through the roof, and people are fed up with the old, slow, expensive system. Here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. Ripple is positioning itself to completely take over Swift at some point in the future. And here's the kicker. By the time ISO 2022 is fully active and running, it's going to be game over for anyone trying to catch up. Picture this. Banks will already be running on rails powered by XRP and XLM. The adoption won't even make headlines anymore. It'll just quietly replace the old system while everyone's looking the other way. So here's my question for you. Are you watching history unfold, or are you actually participating in it? Because time is definitely running out when it comes to ISO positioning. I genuinely believe ISO 20022 is going to be massive, and I think we're going to see a lot of people kicking themselves for not investing in these ISO cryptocurrencies early. I'm talking about the coins that could be integrated directly into ISO messaging systems. That's why I always tell people, if you want to build a killer portfolio, start with the ISO coins as your foundation, then branch out from there. Sure, there are tons of other cryptocurrencies that will eventually get utilized in ISO messaging, but that's going to happen later down the road. Look at what's happening right now. Casper's making huge moves with AI. DAG is positioning itself to be a major player. Then you've got projects like Zano, Sarah, Velo, Stronghold, and I'm probably missing some others. LCX is another solid one. But here's my strategy. Start with the core ISO cryptocurrencies first. I'm talking about XRP, XLM, XDC, ALGO, IOTA, ADA, HBAR, QNT. Get your foundation solid with these, then start exploring the others. As long as you've got a decent ISO bag, you're setting yourself up for success. Listen, I genuinely think you're going to absolutely kill it with these investments. I believe you could reach financial freedom way faster with these specific cryptocurrencies than with pretty much anything else in today's market. Now, sure, you might get lucky and hit a meme coin that goes 1,000 times, but come on. We both know that's like winning the lottery. Here's something that's going to put this whole thing in perspective for you. What we're seeing with crypto right now, it's actually bigger than when they built the entire US railroad system. I'm talking about Carnegie-level wealth creation here, Vanderbilt-type fortunes. Think Ripple, think XRP. This is that level of opportunity. Let me ask you this. If someone handed you a time machine right now and said you could go back and invest in the railroad boom, would you do it? Of course you would. Every single person watching this would jump at that chance because you know those early investors became insanely wealthy. That was a complete industrial revolution. But here's the incredible part. You don't need that time machine. You're literally living through an industrial revolution right this very moment. It's unfolding in real time, and the opportunity is staring you right in the face. All you need to do is invest in the right cryptocurrencies while the window is still open. Don't just take my word for it, though. Listen to what Giancarlo has to say about this. This is going to blow your mind.
I think what's happening right now is remarkable historically. Maybe the railroad technology of the 1880s had as much policy-led support as this does. I've never seen as much policy supported support for innovation. Even I was around in the 1990s during the first wave of the internet. when Congress passed some important legislation that was Republican-led, and the White House, Democrat-led under President Clinton, worked very, very well together. And together, they developed a do no harm policy for the early internet, and that was really important. And yet, as forward-leaning as that was, this is even more so. And so I think you're going to have a lot of building of infrastructure, of L1s, L2s, L3s, and the crypto. As your listeners may know, those are the base layers of these blockchain buildings, and then the applications that are built upon that. But then also financing for this technology, because it does require a lot of capital to build it. So all of that is going to take place. Now, even with that policy-led support, that doesn't rule out there might be, and there very well might be, a bubble in prices, and we could have a bubble bursting, just as it did during every technology revolution. You know, the railroad era of the 1880s ended in, I think it was 1897, with a major crash as big as the Depression. And the same could happen. But interestingly, when that crash happened, nobody tore up the railroads.
Right.
Nobody said, that's it, we're done with railroads. The railroad innovation went on. And railroads, you know, we don't use them much anymore, so we don't realize how important it was. The United States was a series of regional economies until the railroad came. We were not a national economy. And we were not a national society because it was the railroad that brought the telegraph, that we could first read about things happening outside of our regional area. The railroad was fundamentally transformative technology that turned the United States from a series of regional economies into the greatest unified economy the world has ever known. Europe is still trying to get the type of economic unity that we achieved a century and a half ago. And so the railroad was very, very important to the United States. And it came with bubbles and busts. And I believe we will have bubbles and busts in this innovation. And when the inevitable bubble happens, there's going to be people out there saying, see, I told you this crypto stuff is bad. No, it's not the crypto stuff is bad. This technology is as important as we believe it to be. It's just that sometimes the valuation gets way ahead of the results. And I think there's always a chance of that, but it doesn't undermine how important this technology is.
And you know what? He's absolutely 100% right. This isn't just bigger than the railroad system. This is bigger than the internet itself. Think about that for a second. You're not just investing in something big, you're investing in something absolutely massive. What we're witnessing right now is incredible. It's two industrial revolutions colliding at the same time, blockchain and AI. These two forces are going to completely transform and run the entire new financial system. And if you position yourself now, financial freedom isn't just possible, it's practically inevitable. Here's the thing, though. When this explosion happens, it's going to be lightning fast. And I think Giancarlo nailed it when he said we'll probably see some kind of black swan event through regulations. That's when most of this space is going to get wiped out completely. But here's where it gets exciting. You're going to have just a handful of cryptocurrencies that survive and absolutely explode. I'm talking bigger than Amazon, bigger than Apple, maybe even bigger than Amazon and Apple combined. And honestly, I think Ripple could be one of those giants. Just think about what Ripple is doing right now. They're going after that banking license. Once they secure that, game over. That's going to position XRP in a completely different league than where it is today. And here's the genius part. RLUSD is like their Trojan horse, their door opener. Banks and financial institutions are obviously going to be comfortable with stablecoins, right? But then Ripple gets them in the door and introduces them to the real secret sauce, XRP itself. All right, so here's some breaking news that caught my attention. The White House is apparently close to announcing Selig as their CFTC chair nominee. And get this, they're also vetting potential commissioners because they want to completely rebuild that 5-member commission. This sounds like they're planning to make the CFTC way more crypto-friendly, which is awesome. But here's the thing that's driving me crazy. We still need the actual laws to back this up. That's what we're all still waiting for. And honestly, the delays are getting ridiculous. Here's what really gets under my skin. While we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs, the rest of the world is absolutely crushing it. Russia isn't slowing down one bit. None of the BRICS countries are pumping the brakes. Europe is actually speeding things up. The UK is moving full steam ahead, and don't even get me started on what's happening in Asia right now. They're absolutely dominating this space. It's like watching a race where everyone else is sprinting while we're still tying our shoes. The brutal reality is this. The longer our government stays in this weird limbo, and the longer we go without clear regulations, the further behind we fall compared to the rest of the world. It's honestly painful to watch because America should be leading this revolution, not playing catch-up.
Holy cow, did you guys see this? MXRP just absolutely shattered a launch record. It's now officially the fastest growing Midas real-world asset product ever, pulling in nearly $30 million in deposits in just the first 2 weeks after launch. I mean, come on. If that doesn't prove there's massive demand for XRP yield, I don't know what does. Like I've been saying all along, the demand is absolutely there for this cryptocurrency, and it's only getting stronger. Here's where this gets really exciting though. As that demand keeps climbing and more XRP gets locked away, we're heading straight toward a perfect storm of scarcity and demand happening at the exact same time. And you know what that combination does to price, right? This is when a small group of XRP holders, people like us, are going to see some serious wealth creation. And here's the thing that blows my mind. There really aren't that many XRP holders compared to the entire world population. Remember all those people who used to say, they're never going to let XRP holders get rich? That was complete nonsense back in 2017, 2019, 2020, and it's even more ridiculous today. Think about it logically. Look at all the Bitcoin holders who became millionaires. You seriously think they're going to block XRP holders from building wealth? Come on. We're all going to succeed together in this space. Until that day comes, though, here's what I need from you. Stay patient and stay positive. We've got this. All right, future millionaires, that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I appreciate you more than you know. I'll catch you in the next one, and until then, have an incredible night.